They say secrets don't stay buried, especially not when the cameras are still rolling. And the mix never stop recording, and this time the streets aren't just whispering. They're screaming because something just dropped that has the entire Love and Hip Hop cast looking like they walked into the wrong season. Kendra Robinson didn't just drop tea. She poured gasoline on a house that was already burning and people are still trying to catch their breath. Word is, Kendra somehow got her hands on hotel surveillance footage, and not just any footage. We're talking about a grainy, time-stamped clip that shows a woman rumored to be none other than Kirk Frost's personal assistant, leaving his hotel room at sunrise with sliding, heels in hand, and looking like she either saw a ghost or saw Rasheeda pulling up. It was messy, and apparently, it didn't stay in Kendra's phone. Nah, allegedly. That video made its way to producers, and if the whispers are true, Kendra played that footage for Rasheeda right in the middle of filming. No warning, no heads up, just vibes and vengeance. And when Rasheeda saw it, she didn't scream, she didn't throw drinks. She stood up and walked, no script, no lights, no sound cue, just pain and silence. The kind that says, you played me on camera. But let's rewind. Because this wasn't just about a video, the vibe on set had been shifting for weeks. Kendra had been quiet to quiet, not her usual reactive self. No clapbacks, no tears, no begging. Just silence, intentional silence, and people close to production. Said she had started showing up early, staying late, watching everything, listening, collecting, and now we know what she was collecting: evidence, receipts, ammunition. The kind of clips that change public opinion in under 30 seconds. It all went down during what was supposed to be a chill lounge shoot in Atlanta. A check-in scene. Late work, young jock, Kirk, Rasheeda, a couple other cast members. Everyone was laughing, sipping, running lines. Then Kendra walked in, no smile, no greeting, just holding her phone like it weighed 1,000 pounds. The room shifted. Jock gave that awkward little chuckle he does when he knows his girl's about to shake the table. Kirk looked confused, but Rasheeda's face froze the second their eyes locked. Kendra didn't waste a second. She looked straight at Rasheeda and said, calm as a courtroom judge, you sure you still want to keep protecting him? The silence was instant. Producers stopped breathing. Kirk tried to chuckle it off, stumbling over some nonsense about not turning a vibe into a scene. But Kendra turned to the crew and said, can y'all play something real quick? Word is, she had already sent the footage to producers that morning. It was loaded, ready, and the second they hit play, the temperature dropped on the monitor. You could see it, late-night hallway footage, time-stamped, blurry, but clear enough. Kirk, walking down a hotel corridor with a woman who looked way too familiar. That walk, that hair, that damn hoodie, the same Frost-branded hoodie only family and trusted staff got from that private merch drop. It was the same assistant Rasheeda had introduced in season 12. Quiet girl, never said much, always hovering. To close, the footage cut to them entering a room. Then hours later, bam, door swings open. The assistant runs out, barefoot, holding her shoes, purse half off, sliding, hoodie pulled tight over her head. She looked scared. She looked exposed. She looked like she knew she had just done something that couldn't be undone. And then it cut to black on set. Nothing. No one said a damn word. Kirk's face turned blood red. Jock looked like he needed an Advil and a therapist. Rasheeda, she stood up, stared Kirk down, and whispered, you told me you were in Miami for a business meeting. You could have heard a pin drop. Kirk tried to stammer out some foolishness about context, about how things aren't always what they seem. But it was too late. Rasheeda left. Walked right off set like the cameras didn't matter anymore. Kirk chased after her, but not before turning to Kendra and snapping, you didn't have to do it like that. She didn't even flinch, just said, no, I didn't. But I wasn't gonna let you lie to her face again, period. But the drama didn't stay in the lounge. Within 24 hours, someone leaked the clip. At first it was just bouncing around in cast group chats. But by sunrise, a gossip blog had it, and by noon, the internet was dissecting every frame. Was Kirk shirtless? Did the assistant have bruises? Was that a Frost hoodie she wore like a trophy or a disguise? Fans noticed Rasheeda unfollowed Kirk that same day. 2 days later, she scrubbed her feed. Any post with Kirk gone, brand deals started pulling out. One hair care sponsor paused their entire campaign. The Frost family image cracking at the foundation, and Kirk, instead of apologizing, posted some weak-ass Instagram story about betrayal and forgiveness. It didn't land. The comments were savage. People tagged Kendra, begging for the full video. Others begged Rasheeda to walk away for good. But the weirdest part? The assistant went completely silent. No statements, no posts. Her page went private. Rumors started flying. Some said she had a breakdown. Some said she was being paid off, and Kendra, she didn't post a thing, didn't speak, didn't gloat, just watched the internet unravel. Then came the second twist. A source close to Kendra told a blog that the footage wasn't something she stumbled on. She was tipped off by a hotel employee, a fan of the show, someone who saw Kirk and the assistant check-in and knew something was off. When that fan saw Kendra's cryptic Instagram shade toward the Frosts, she reached out. She didn't want money. She wanted the truth out. Kendra verified everything, dates, tags, location data, and waited for the perfect moment to strike that playback scene. That wasn't a coincidence. That was strategy, and it landed. After that, the cast split. Some sided with Rasheeda. Some just went silent. Even Jock, who always defended Kirk, told producers off camera, "Man needs to fix his house before acting like he runs this cast." Rasheeda refused to film with Kirk for 2 whole weeks. The Frost Empire in shambles. Fans rallying behind Kendra like she was a silent hero, and for the first time, she didn't look like the background wife. She looked like the main character. And the scariest part? She still hasn't said a word. The footage was already viral. But Kendra didn't need to say a word. She just let the tape play. And in silence, she flipped the whole season upside down. But behind the scenes, that silence was louder than any confessional. The next morning, the cast group chat was on fire. People were texting nonstop, some in disbelief, others angry, and a few trying to find out who had the nerve to leak that kind of heat to the blogs. Meanwhile, producers were scrambling like it wasn't already too late. The story had wings. And Kendra, she hadn't even blinked publicly. No statements, no subtweets, just quiet power. Rasheeda, though, she didn't go home that night. Word was, she headed straight to her mama's house and turned her phone off for 24 hours. Kirk, on the other hand, was spiraling. He was calling everyone, leaving voicemails, texting her through friends, begging for a chance to explain what was clearly unexplainable. Because this wasn't cheating with plausible deniability. This was time-stamped. This was branded clothing. This was running down the hallway like a scene from a thriller. It wasn't just bad, it was undeniable. And this time, Rasheeda didn't rush in to fix the narrative. While Kirk unraveled, Kendra showed up to set on time, glam flawless, voice steady. When a producer asked if she had anything else to add, she sipped her drink and said, "I think people are finally seeing what I've seen all along." The room got cold. Jock looked like he'd just seen his own future flash before his eyes. That week, production set up a private dinner shoot for Kendra and Jock at a quiet restaurant in Midtown. Cameras were rolling but low-key, trying to catch something raw. Kendra sat across from him, calm, stirring her drink. Jock looked tense. He asked gently, "Are you okay?" She nodded, then asked without lifting her eyes, "How long have you known?" Jock froze. He paused too long, then muttered, "I didn't know for sure. I had a feeling." Kendra stared at him. "You've known Kirk for over a decade. You're telling me he never slipped? Never hinted, never let it out about her?" Jock sighed. He said Kirk never confessed outright. But yeah, he'd made comments. Little things, travel plans that didn't add up, flirty compliments that felt too specific, meetings that didn't match the calendar. "I didn't think it was serious," he shrugged. Kendra looked him dead in the eye and said, "Being Kirk is the problem." Fans dragged Jock after that episode aired. But what broke the internet wasn't the dinner, it was the assistant's first public post. She didn't apologize, didn't deny. She simply uploaded a selfie to her story, an old one, same hotel, same hallway, same Frost hoodie. The caption, "You only sorry because you got caught." It went viral in minutes. Fans zoomed in, screenshotted, analyzed. It was the exact hoodie from the footage. The message was clear. She wasn't hiding anymore. If anything, she was owning it. Some said she was bold, others called her delusional. Either way, she was in the story now and she knew it. Kirk didn't say a word, but his team quietly deleted all promos featuring the assistant. Rasheeda stayed offline. When she finally reappeared, it was with a black and white post that read, "Healing in private. Please respect my space. Respect my space." The comments were chaos. Supporters flooded in telling her to leave. Others accused her of faking another storyline, and some had the audacity to blame her, saying she should have known better. But what they didn't know, Rasheeda wasn't in her feelings. She was in her paperwork. Sources said she was already in meetings with her legal team, trying to distance her brand from Kirk in every business deal they shared. She wasn't just protecting her heart, she was protecting her empire. Meanwhile, Kendra wasn't looking for separation, she was looking for exposure. The hotel video? Just the beginning. A producer leaked that Kendra had receipts, texts, screenshots, maybe even audio recordings, some dated back over a year. And if she felt like she was being thrown under the bus or painted like the villain, she released everything. And it wasn't just about Kirk. Rumors spread that at least two cast members knew about the hotel meetup. One was said to be a junior producer who arranged Kirk's ride, the other, a makeup artist who worked on both Rasheeda and the assistant. It was never just one secret, it was a web, and now the web was unraveling. Podcasts started calling XVH1 employees, blogs were posting timeline breakdowns. Fans went deep, comparing behind-the-scenes clips from past seasons, trying to see who knew what and when. Some believed Kendra had this planned for months. Others said it was triggered by an argument with Jock. Either way, she didn't need to scream, she didn't need to fight. She hit play and the franchise imploded. The footage didn't just expose Kirk. It shattered the silence around every enabler and friend who helped him hide. Rasheeda's quiet, Jock's hesitation, the assistant's smugness, it all became part of the story. The cast was split, fans were split. Some worshipped Kendra, now calling her the realest on the show. Others rallied around Rasheeda, saying she didn't deserve this level of humiliation. A few swore it was all scripted for ratings. But even if it was, the pain was real, the fallout was real, and the Frost image, it was no longer solid, it was dust. Production tried to get control. Again, they arranged a healing circle at a private estate, off camera. It was clear. It wasn't about healing, it was about damage control. But the moment Kendra walked in, the room got tight. She didn't come to forgive, she came to finish. Rasheeda walked in next, dressed in all black, no makeup, sunglasses on. She looked like a widow at her own emotional funeral. Kirk was already seated, worn down and aged by the scandal. Jock sat in the back, tapping his fingers like he wanted to disappear. When Kendra entered, she didn't even glance at Kirk. She stared straight at Rasheeda, and for the first time since the footage leaked, Rasheeda spoke. "You should have told me," she said. Her voice was ice, no tears, no drama, just cold truth. Kendra tilted her head. "Told you what? That your husband lied? Or that your assistant wasn't just helping with schedules?" Rasheeda removed her glasses. Her eyes were red but steady. "I would have handled it differently, privately. But now you dragged me into it." Kendra didn't even flinch. "He dragged you. I just showed you the GPS route he took." That's when Kirk snapped. He stood up, yelling about how they all needed to move past the drama, focus on the big picture. But nobody was listening. Rasheeda leaned forward. "Why now?" she asked. Kendra took a breath and said, "Because I got tired of protecting people who wouldn't protect me. Well, y'all judged me, called me bitter, cold. Not wife material. Your man was laid up with the girl who glues on your lashes." The gasp was instant. Even production looked shook. That was the first time the assistant's role was spoken out loud. Kendra didn't stop. She reached into her bag, pulled out a folder, and slid it across the table. The producers tried to stop her. She ignored them. Texts, call logs. "Demas, if anyone wants the truth, it's all right there." Kirk's face was fire red. "This ain't how we do things," he barked. Kendra looked him dead in the eye. "Then maybe you should have stayed out of hotel rooms you didn't belong in." Rasheeda stood up and walked out again. But this time, she didn't come back. Jock followed a few minutes later. Clearly torn, he found her by the van. "She's doing this to hurt me," he pleaded. "This ain't about you," Rasheeda said, turning around. "This became about me the second you watched that video and stayed silent." Back inside, producers pulled Kendra aside for a private confessional. She agreed, sat down, mic on, hair laid, voice calm. "I knew about her for months," she said. "I saw it, the way he acted, the way she acted, the way Rasheeda looked away every time something didn't feel right. But I kept my mouth shut. I didn't want to be the angry black woman again, the bitter wife. I just wanted to survive the season. But then I realized they weren't surviving me." That confessional, most watched of the entire season, and then it got worse. V1 Legal stepped in. Filming paused for 3 days. Not because of production issues, but because the assistant threatened legal action. But Kendra, she was untouchable. The footage didn't come from her. She never said the assistant's name. She played it smart, and the smartest part, she still wasn't done. Kendra never needed to accuse anyone. She didn't have to scream, post, or drag names. All she did was hit play and let the footage speak for itself. But in the silence that followed, Rasheeda started spiraling. Her team moved quickly. Damage control wasn't optional anymore. Brand sponsors wanted answers. Some threatened to pull deals. Others demanded clarification. No one wanted their products tied to a scandal involving hotel surveillance, cheating assistants, and a marriage under fire. Rasheeda's image was her lifeline. And for the first time in her career, she didn't know how to pivot. Kirk tried to do his own cleanup. He proposed a private sit-down, just him, Kendra, and Rasheeda. No cameras, no script, just growing conversation. Kendra declined. Rasheeda didn't even respond. The damage wasn't just done, it was personal. Kirk thought he could do what he always did. Talk his way out of it. Throw in a few tears. Play the flawed black man card. But this time, there was no spin. The footage didn't lie. And worse? Neither did the silence of the people around him. Jock found himself caught between loyalty and truth. He loved Kendra, respected Rasheeda, and Kirk, that was his brother. But as the dust settled, Jock realized that sitting quiet was the same as standing dirty. In a private production call, he admitted he'd known something was off. He just didn't have the nerve to say it. He was scared to lose a friend. Scared to lose his image, scared to lose his marriage, and now, he might lose it all anyway. The assistant vanished. No scenes, no statements, no social media, rumors flew. Some said she moved back home. Others whispered Kirk paid her to disappear. A few insiders claimed Rasheeda herself handed over hush money, just to make the headlines stop. Nobody could confirm. And at this point, nobody cared. The only truth that mattered now was the one Kendra had exposed. The woman they laughed at, ignored, underestimated was suddenly the one in control. Quiet, calculated, and finally respected. When filming resumed, the energy was ice cold. No more jokes between takes, no fake hugs, no pretending. Everyone knew the world of love and hip-hop had shifted and it wasn't going back. Kendra didn't just expose a scandal, she cracked open a system. She pulled back the curtain on years of imbalance, of wives protecting men who didn't protect them. And now, everyone had to face what they'd ignored. Producers called one last group scene a soft-set lounge drenched in mood lighting, candles, soft jazz. But the energy was sharp. Kendra arrived first, no makeup tricks, just beige. No accessories, no smiles. She didn't need drama anymore. She was a storm. Rasheeda walked in next, her silence dressed in black. Kirk followed, carrying the weight of everything he couldn't deny. And Jock came last, shoulders slumped, unsure what side of the table he even belonged to. The conversation started cold. No one knew how to start, so the producers nudged. Kirk cleared his throat, looked between the women he betrayed into very different ways and said, I know I messed up. I'm owning that. But this wasn't the way to handle it. Kendra blinked. You mean, proof wasn't the way? Kirk shook his head. Nah. Leaking it, putting it out like that? You embarrassed all of us. Rasheeda finally spoke. No. You embarrassed all of us. She just made sure we saw it. Kirk went quiet, no defense. No apology, just shame. Kendra leaned forward, not to attack but to clarify. I didn't do this to destroy anybody. I did it because I was tired of being the joke in your group chats. I sat through scenes where y'all mocked my marriage, laughed about my coldness. Meanwhile, your man was starring in his own spin-off behind hotel doors. Jock tried to chime in. We could have handled it differently. Ken, could we? She asked. Because I came to you, I said I didn't trust him. I told you the signs, and you told me to calm down. Trust the process, stop acting paranoid. So now this is a process. There was no yelling, no drink throwing, just truth, laid bare and bleeding. Rasheeda turned slowly to Kendra. So, what now? Kendra held her gaze. I don't want your marriage. I don't want your spotlight. I just wanted my respect. And now that I got it, what you'll do next? That's up to you. Rasheeda nodded, just once, slow, silent. Not agreement but understanding. That was the end of the scene. The cameras cut, the room emptied. But the story was far from finished. In the weeks that followed, the assistant never resurfaced. The hotel declined to comment, but screenshots of bookings, time-stamped check-ins, and employee witness statements kept floating around. Fans debated every detail. Some called Kendra messy, others called her genius. But no one denied the obvious. The balance had shifted. Kendra became a fan favorite overnight. Not because she was the loudest but because she was a realist. Clips of her calling out Kirk, standing up to Jock, and calmly dismantling Rasheeda circulated everywhere. Reaction videos, Twitter threads, TikToks. She was viral without trying. The same woman whose scenes were once skipped was now being called the only reason to watch the show. As for Kirk and Rasheeda, they stopped filming. Some said they were in counseling. Others claimed Rasheeda moved out. Kirk's bookings started drying up. Brands ghosted him. Fans side-eyed him in public. He didn't talk about it, but the whisper of that video followed him everywhere. Meanwhile, Jock and Kendra stayed distant, not broken up, but not healed either. Kendra hadn't just exposed a man, she exposed the lie behind the loyalty. That women were supposed to forgive, be quiet, look pretty, hold secrets. And Jock, he didn't cheat, but he did something worse. He watched. In the final confessional of the season, Kendra sat alone. No glam, just her, the lens, and Aramik. I'm not perfect, she said. I stayed when I should have left. I smiled when I wanted to scream. They called me cold, bitter, hard to love, too much, too little. But I never lied, and the truth don't need a crowd, it just needs one moment. The clip went viral, again, not for the drama, but for the shift. This season didn't end with a bang. It ended with a warning. Power had changed hands. And it wasn't in the hands of Kirk, Rasheeda, or even JOC. It was in the hands of the woman They all overlooked Kendra, and all she did was hit play. And now, the question isn't what happened, it's what comes next. Will Rasheeda finally walk away? Will Kirk ever speak the full truth? Is the assistant gone for good? Or will she reappear at the reunion with a Mick in a moment? And Kendra, was this her breaking point? Or just her beginning? The Frost name will never carry the same weight again. Loyalty has new rules. Respect has new players, and the quietest one in the room, she just became the one holding the pen. So what do you think? Did Kendra go too far, or did she finally do what needed to be done? Was Rasheeda really blindsided, or was she just afraid to face what she already knew? And do Kirk and Jock even deserve the women who held them down for years? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Every theory, every hot take, we're listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications, because if this season proved anything, it's that the cameras might miss it, but someone's phone never does.